Hey,
Good afternoon, Jordan. How are you?
doing good. How are you?
Isn't that like a kind of a nerve-wracking moment? You're like, do I start a conversation and then the live thing goes on and then
Yeah,
we're in the
or
middle of a conversation we shouldn't be having?
what do I do with my hands?
Right. What do I do? What's next?
Just
We got a pretty good one this week. Last
yep,
week I wasn't able to make it, so I appreciate our buddy Joe jumping in. We get to go through and meet a handful of team members, and we're gonna try to round it out this week, right?
that is correct.
We've got an okay group. I saw about four guys up there. Maybe two of them I like, but we'll get to see what they have to say. We got a couple questions for them.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, how have you been?
Good. Busy, real busy. Been watching Laura pass through the middle of the U.S., so looks like some sign guys will be out there fixing signs and other things.
Some retrofits. Luckily, you guys are further enough west to probably not get touched by that, but certainly we hope everything is safe out there. And I guess Louisiana, Houston area, really, where they're
Correct.
getting. You want to jump in? I mean,
Yeah.
you've done this before.
Yeah. Let's jump in. So we'll go ahead and bring in our first outside sales team member. Believe it is. Gosh dang, I can't even remember who the first one was. Let's just
I
bring.
feel like it's Brian. I feel like we're going to the central Midwest. We're going to drop in on Iowa,
There we go.
a place that most people just fly over, right, Brian? We'll wait for Brian to come on. While we're waiting for Brian to come on, we'll just give you a little bit. Brian covers the central Midwest region. I think he'll be on here in a moment, but that consists of, I think we'll see a map, but really Chicago, the Dakotas, Iowa, I think Missouri. He's probably back there listening. Nebraska. We hope that we haven't screwed any of them up, but quite a bit of drive time.
Yeah.
Well, you know what we'll do while we're waiting here. We'll talk about. We got a new product that we're going to talk about later in this, but maybe we can give them a sneak peek until we're back up here. We got a new power supply.
Yeah. It's our micro driver, and I wish I would have brought one, but we will.
They're so small, you might have one in your hand right now. You just can't see it.
Yeah, exactly. They're tiny, but
So 60-watt driver.
60 watts, 12 volt, and gosh dang, they're probably in it. They probably stand half an inch tall, an inch wide, and probably 5 or so inches long. So, yeah, we're excited to release them. I think our release date on that is September 2nd.
Excellent. Oh, there it is.
There we go.
That's it coming out soon. So Wednesday, September 2nd is really a small driver. It's going to be pretty cool. 60-watt, 12 volts, so you can light up those signs, but really get into those little areas where you might not want the driver to overshadow, but you still have to be inside the box. Or as these channel letters continue to get narrower and narrower in a situation where you can't remote mount, this might be a great opportunity for it.
Yeah, and I also think this will be utilized a lot in self-contained channel letters. I think that would be a great application for these small drivers. That way they don't get in the way of the beam angle and everything of the LEDs that you also have in there.
Right, especially with how short they are. I mean, just the ability for that light to go over it, even in a shallow cabinet. All right, I think we're ready to fly to Iowa.
All right.
Bring in our central Midwest sales rep.
Hey, Brian.
You're
I was
in.
waiting back there like, all right, nope. They're just going to keep bashing on me, I guess.
Ron, I'm trying to get off your states, and I just kind of gave an outline, but we're gonna pull up a map. But really, I left out a couple.
Yeah, I know on the East Coast, it's like once you pass Pennsylvania, it's Midwest, like just till California. So, but no, we've got.
Well, we look out the airplane window. We look out wherever.
No, I've got Illinois, Wisconsin, Minnesota, North and South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Missouri, and Iowa, where I call home. And just before we get into our segment, I did see a question from somebody when you were talking about the micro driver. There you go. Jordan, I'm probably going to defer to you on that question.
Yeah, so any chance you'll be doing a micro driver for a 96 watt, 24 volt? That's a good question. I'll have to get with the engineering team. Unfortunately, I don't have an answer for it right now, but I will definitely ask. And Rocky, I will get back with you. I'll get your contact and we'll get back with you with an answer on that.
All right. And before Brian, I got to interrupt one more time now. So Jordan, what I missed a Talladega Nights reference.
You
He didn't
did?
know what to do with his hands.
Oh, the hands. Okay.
Yeah.
I got it, but I mean, Will Vincent, who you guys met last week, called it out, and I'm reading these comments, and I'm like,
Oh, there it is.
I mean, shake and bake. I'm thinking, what did Jordan drop here? All right, Brian, we have some really hard hitting questions here. You might feel like we're the media and you're running for president.
All right, let's go. Let's do them.
So the first question is, how did you get started in this industry?
So I think myself, like many others that aren't from a generation that's already been in the sign industry, I came into it not knowing it even existed. So it was by chance. Got out of school, needed a job, and in Michigan at that time, it was hard to find a job. The market wasn't great, and 8 minutes from my house, I saw there was a customer service job for this little company at the time called SignComp, and applied, went to interviews, and eventually got the job. And so I started off on the extrusion side up in Michigan, where I'm from originally, and I did inside service or customer service, inside sales for about 5 years there. And I went to my first ISA, and it was kind of like, it was awesome to see people face to face and to be able to demonstrate stuff in your hands versus just on the phone and email. So I really liked that aspect of it. And I knew that's what outside sales got to do all the time, go to shops and actually educate people and show people in person. And I gravitated towards that. So SignComp has always used manufacturers reps, YNA, and there was a void in the Midwest. The opportunity was there, and so I finally got to get out of a cubicle and get out in the field. So now 7 years, Adam. August, I think it was 7 years, right?
August of 2013. 7 years.
Yeah.
We got
7
work
years later, here we are. So
So it was 5 years at SignComp and then 7 Christian.
That's how old Brian is already.
I'm very old. Very old.
I didn't think that's where he was headed, though, when he said I went to the ISA and then wanted to be in outside sales. I didn't think he was going to discuss that it was because he wanted to go around and show products. I thought he was going to talk about the partying at the ISA. So I'm glad that he was able to.
There's some fun stuff there's some fun stuff to do out there too. But yeah.
ISA gets a little wild.
Well, and your first one was Vegas too, right, Brian? You went Vegas was the first one.
That was my first trip to Vegas too. So there was a lot going on that trip, but it was all good. It was all good. Nobody got arrested. Nobody got hurt. So
that we know of.
Yeah.
So, Brian, also, do you have any kind of jobs in specific that you are really proud of, or ones that stuck out the most to you?
Yeah, there's been quite a few now, but it's always the ones that stick out are the unique ones where maybe in the beginning you didn't know how it was going to happen, but you work with the companies and you work with the cities and all this stuff, and it all comes together and looks great in the end. So I think those are the kinds of jobs that stick out. Locally here, it was funny one time leaving an ISA. I've been texting a customer of mine, good customer. I've known him for a long time, and we kept missing each other. We're both in Iowa, and we were out in Vegas together, but we kept missing each other, whether it was meetings or whatever. And I get to the airport in Vegas, and he's at my gate. So we're flying on the same flight back together. And then we happen to have the same seats next to each other. So he pulled out drawings of a project. He's like, hey, we're doing the Hawkeye Stadium in Iowa City. I'm like, well, it's 20 minutes from my house. So that one's, because it's so close to me, and I got to just the story behind it of how we even were on the plane when we started discussing it and stuff. That one's very memorable. But I always love the ones where we could pull all our manufacturers together and kind of come up with a solution that works for everybody. You know, those are the ones. Those are the best. Yeah.
Cool. Well, trying to think. I think that's all the questions we have.
Okay. Yeah.
Unless you've got one, Adam.
This is riveting.
I'm just thinking to myself, Brian, we've been representing Principal LED. We've had this great opportunity now for the last couple of years here. And we've always been very close. We have some great meetings and stories there. I know that Jordan went through how you got into the industry and some of the coolest jobs. What is a big takeaway? What's something that if you're out there and you want to, you're telling your customers, you're talking about what Principal means to you to represent as a brand or to sell, for them to put the product in their sign. What's your takeaway from PLED that you would share with people, or you do share with people?
Yeah, I mean, the number one thing is that the people at PLED have always been amazing, and I'm not saying that just because Jordan's here, but it's true. I mean, we, in the past, when I first started as a rep, there were other LED manufacturers I'd worked with that were good, but never quite the level of service and quality and everything, and the teamwork that PLED has. I think I love PLED because they actually listen, not just to me, but to our customers. When we give feedback to the company, they actually listen and will make changes based on that. So, in the past, there's some companies that say, hey, this is our product, go out there and do it. We're not changing it. But with all the innovations we've done over time, we've been able to adapt on it. Something, like COVID or whatever happens, we can adapt and change and move fast because they're open to that. So I think the adaptability, being able to prototype in the US versus overseas, we can get that done a lot faster. There's just, the list goes on and on and on.
Would you say you just enjoy the fact that they have the freedom to innovate?
I do. Yes. Yeah. No, I love the tagline, and Brian Vincent says it all the time, and it is very true. They live to simplify the lives of our customers, and that's what we try to do with all our products and services. So
we got a hard-hitting question. Remember, we can't control the audience, so we have this gentleman out there, Mr. Smith, who he has two questions here, but we only have one up on the screen. Okay, his question is, how do you feel about the 24-volt sticks compared to 12-volt sticks? He wants your opinion.
My opinion. Here's my opinion on it. Years ago, this would have been a bigger divisive argument, one versus the other in efficiency. But over the years, things have happened where, now 12-volt and 24-volt are very efficient. So I think the biggest thing when you're trying to decide what to do, it's not just going to be one blanket, like this one's better than this one. It's going to come down to project, it's project driven. So, you might be able to put, I'll use our Pinnacle, for example, 5 8-foot sticks on a 120 driver in 12-volt and be done, where you might spend a little more on a driver for 24-volt, but you might not utilize all that wattage. So it might make sense to use 12-volt in certain projects where it's, smaller and it's all project driven, but not opposed to either one. I mean, we've got them both. I just think you really have to analyze overall in our industry, instead of arguing one over the other. I think everybody has to start looking at the job and picking the best tool for the job. If you have one size wrench and you're a mechanic, are you not gonna, are you gonna try to, undo a nut in an engine that's not the right size? No, you're gonna grab the right tool for that job. So
I just hear you turn the music louder, lower your windows, and stop listening to that rattling.
or take the Adam Yorson route. Yeah,
bro. We'll let you leave on a high note.
Toolbox, and we use everything in our toolkit. Put it that way.
We'll let you leave on a high note here with Lauren's comment. I mean, I think this is genetically, it's unfair. I mean, it's not like you did anything to get this hair, but she's giving you a hair award here. I mean, we know you used the blow dryer this morning for some extended time.
Always use the blow dryer.
A lot of genetics in there.
Yeah, when we lost power and we didn't have blow drying, it was a I bought a generator just so I could blow dry again. Yeah.
You wore a hat for a week straight.
Oh, hats. Oh, man.
But
If
Brian,
you got it, you got to flaunt it, right? No, I'm just kidding.
we appreciate everything you do, man.
Oh,
It's
thank
cool,
you, Mark.
cool having a team in 7 years. 7 years being an independent rep,
Yeah.
12 years in the industry. Really, really cool. So if you're out in one of those states that Brian commented on, I'm not going to try to rattle them off again, but an awesome rep. Brian, thank you.
I do have one more question. I just saw. pop
We'll
up.
just cut it out of Joe Lupton's time. It's fine.
You want to just do
No, we'll take the time from Joe. He'll be fine with it.
new Patriot module doing the market? I've had a lot of people that are liking it. Number one, it's made here, so that's a huge factor. The fact that we literally control the whole process. There's no relying on anyone else except our team down in Texas. So many customers like that. Number two, it's simple to lay out. It's an efficient module. Again, it's 24 volt versus 12. And again, sometimes it makes more sense to use 12 volts with our quick mods, and sometimes it makes sense to use the 24 volt. But we've had a great reception to it out on the road so far. I think it's going to be a hit, and we've got some other goodies on the horizon as well. So I think it's, again, continuing to innovate. I love it. So.
Oh, there it is.
Let's come back in 20 years.
hey, it'll be there, but it might not be real.
You got to just do whatever you can to keep it, right?
Exactly.
A little spray, a little plug in here. We're good.
Oh, never spray.
Never spray.
Always paste.
Paste.
Yeah.
That's probably what I'm doing wrong.
Good to know.
All right, Brian. Thanks for your time.
All right, guys. Thank you. Take care.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So he's got good hair. I get it.
Are you jealous or no?
I mean, 10 years ago, yeah, could I have been there? But it just seems to keep climbing backwards a little bit every year. It's like a birthday present you don't want every year.
I know the feeling.
But I mean, so it's funny when we say it out loud. I didn't realize Brian's really been in this market for 12 years already, out there working. I mean, time's flying by. He's a tremendous resource out there in the Central Midwest. But we're going to fly south. We're going to go talk to somebody else now. We're going to go a new guy to the industry. So this will be an interesting story. Spent most of his career outside of it, but we'll bring on Mr. Joe Gasek.
Hey there, Adam.
There you go. Checking out the
Hey,
hair.
Jordan. How's the hair? Am I doing all right?
Looks great, man.
It's still there.
Good.
That's what counts. The goal is to have it there, right?
Exactly. And kudos, Adam. You pronounced my last name right. That's a good start.
And so is every other Monday conference calls that's helping. Hey, Joe.
By the way, I do have the mini driver here, so I know a couple other guys on the team has it as well. It's the 60-watt 12-volt, and like Todd said the other day, it is about the size of a pen, so it is very, compact and small for those tight areas.
It's definitely going to work out in a lot of applications. Where before you were concerned with the shadowing or is it going to fit? So I think it's really going to allow more illuminated projects for smaller boxes, which is really good. Or as Jordan mentioned, for those channel letters where you don't have the remote option, this is something you can really hide in the back of a channel letter.
Good.
So Joe,
Good.
you've spent most of your career really outside sign. You joined the family here. I want to say the kind of the very beginning of the year or the tail end of last.
Yeah.
But you're not originally from Florida.
I am not. I'm from West by God, West Virginia, small state up north. Moved down to Florida a couple years ago. In October, it'll be actually 2 years. So I got transferred from, my previous job. I was in the I'll start. You got to remember, I did start in late January, early February. Prior, I was in the MRO arena industry, which MRO is maintenance, repair, and operation. I was familiar, I'm familiar with electrical products, the fluorescence, the incandescents, the tubes, and a little about the LEDs. And then I was approached with an opportunity, and the rest is history.
And now you're here, and what a great time, right, to start a new career in 2020.
Yeah. Well, that's.
I couldn't think of a better time to just really get out there and see people and, get exposed.
I'm glad you said that, Adam. It was great. It is great, period. Right. But early on, I was going through training and I felt like we were just getting ready to take the training wheels off, and then COVID hit. So, but it did give me an opportunity to spend some time with a lot of emailing, a lot of, Skype one-on-one, and especially with the shops I've already seen. Now, the ones I haven't seen yet, it's a little different animal, so to speak, because, hopefully this session here helps.
Yeah. I mean, so Joe, you pretty beneficial to your ability to kind of receive the information, learn principle, learn the customers, get to know people, and really, take a deeper dive without having to go full speed here. While you were doing this, while you joined us in January and we all got together for our national sales meeting, what would be your biggest takeaway from PLED so far? What's something that you've, that either you've gone through the training or met somebody or had a situation? What's something that's, really is good for you?
It's, it's a great question, Adam, and it's easy to answer. It's a long answer, but it's like what Brian said, it's the people, both internally and externally. And I'll talk a little bit about both. Internal, principal anticipates what's coming next and solves problems before this problem, before the problem develops, right? We're the best, and I sincerely mean this. I've been around for a while, best in the industry, I feel. And I say that by customer service, our layout team, our engineering, and upper management. But it also starts with Blake and Brian Vincent, right? Who's assembled a world-class LED company that manufactures and delivers, first-class quality LEDs, which, it's better quality, better performance systems, longevity and life expectancy out of the LEDs. So, it's that quality. We heard from Brian that said innovation. So it's that quality, innovation, and the service that all the internal peeps bring, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you're getting a lot of time to get exposed and communicate with those people right now. I know that, I witness even our layout department and custom products, things that people don't even think about on the day-to-day that we do that's different than everyone else. You get exposure to somebody in that department, and you really become appreciative to how much is going through those different departments on a daily basis. Even when we're rushing them, hey, we need this one custom piece here or a custom piece there. How important to take each one of those jobs. It's
true. I mean, every individual, we're all in it to win it, right? So that's kind of, Adam, and the internal. External, I have to bring up the customer. The customer, I feel welcome. I also, they're interested in helping. Customers are part of the family as well. I learned years ago, treat people how you want to be treated, but and also there's one that says, put yourself in other people's shoes. And I try to do that day in and day out.
Excellent. You know what, Joe, before I ask you one more question, I want to see if we can pull the map up too, so we can let everyone know you are in one beautiful state. I think you have a little more coverage here. We'll pull a map up just so
Yeah.
everyone knows where you can find Joe Gasick. You're the wonderful dark green area, I believe, down there.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I live, like I said earlier, in the state of Florida. So I have Florida, Mississippi, and Alabama is the 3 states that I manage.
Excellent. Well, Joe, so we know where to find you. We know how you got here. We know your favorite parts. In this window of time you've been working with Principal, has there been a really cool job that either you worked on or that at least maybe that you have become made aware of that Principal's worked on?
That's a good question too, Adam. I don't know about the coolest, but I can tell you, with the few months that I have under my belt, we're definitely converting business, and and that's a great feeling, right? And the list is growing, and that list is going to continue on growing. And with the help of Principal, we're definitely going in the right direction. So thank you, Adam.
Yeah, no, Joe, I like your answer. His answer, not sure about the coolest project, but we're definitely making a lot more sales.
Yeah.
And that's my favorite part as well.
Yeah, good.
Joe, thanks for your time today. We appreciate it. We'll see you soon.
All right, likewise, ditto.
See you, Joe.
Thank you, Jordan.
So, Joe, you might disappear at any moment, but Jordan and I go through this sometimes when we think it's over.
A dog bark.
Yeah, he's gonna be on mute for a second. But yeah, what Adam was saying, he's saying that sometimes we won't know, like when we end a broadcast on this, we don't know whether we're off, what to do while we're waiting for it to go off. Do we just and hope that it goes off? But it's just.
Well, I tell you, this is, I've done a couple of these, but I tell you, it's a lot of fun. It is. And it's great, talking to you all, because you guys are definitely, I tell everybody all the time, blessed, lucky, and fortunate to work with, some world-class peeps, and I'm happy.
Yeah, we're happy to have you on the team. Adam?
Of course, my doorbell rings at the same time here.
Is Cujo gone?
No, it's a very tiny little golden doodle. Nobody should be worried. But I think we're ready. So, Joe, I do appreciate it, and thank you for coming on.
Thank you, Adam. Appreciate the invite.
Cool.
All right, Jordan. We're going to bring on maybe one of my 9th, 10th, or 11th favorite salespeople on our team here. He's definitely an interesting guy. A lot of people know him. He's been in the industry for a long time. As young as he looks.
So are you rating him 9th, 10th, or 11th in order?
Well, I was trying to count how many people we had, and then I was going to make him last, but I just kept losing track of the count. So I figured this way he doesn't feel like last. He could be like 9th or 10th or 11th.
Yeah.
I'm going to figure it out before we get off. I'll find out what number. But we'll bring on Dan Parks, Southeast rep for Principal LED. We think so.
Maybe.
We're just going to blame it on the weather. The internet's got some internet issues due to the weather today, I guess.
Yeah, that could be it.
Well, all jokes aside, we're waiting for Dan to come on. Dan has been in the industry for a while. I know he knows the LED stuff extremely well. He spent a lot of time in distribution, so he understands that network. As much as I like to joke about Dan, he's actually an awesome guy on the team and a lot of fun to hang out with. So hopefully that's all I have good to say about him. So hopefully we can get him on soon. So I don't have to just keep doing that. But
yeah, Dan's he's a great guy. We actually knew him because he was with a distributor of ours before, and just getting to hang out and talk to him. He knows the industry well. He knows a lot about the industry, not just LEDs, but he knows, like you said, the distribution side of it. So he's a wealth of knowledge to feed off of whenever you're trying to figure something out. He's helped me.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. He was an LED specialist, I think, even in that role in distribution
Yes.
before he got here. We're taking away all of his abilities to answer his first couple questions, but at least we're giving everybody a little information. And
You
Dan,
better have it. I'm good.
when we spoke.
There he is.
Hey,
Mr. Parks, how you doing?
doing good, guys. Good to see you.
Did we do a good job with the
Oh.
intro?
Very flattering. Yes, you did a good job.
Thank you. I didn't see you combing the hair like Brian and Joe did.
No, I spent hours on this pair. Hours.
Today.
That's great.
Dan, we talked a little bit about before you came on. Jordan and I were going back and forth that really you've been in the industry a while and you've been in distribution. You want to just maybe fill in the holes of where we left out, kind of how you got to where you are.
Yeah, just it was kind of like Brian said, coming out of high school, going into college, needed a job for the summer, and had an opportunity to go work at a distribution center here in Georgia, and that was 24 years ago. So, been in distribution up until 3 years ago when I got into with Principal. So, I've actually dealt with Blake and Brian since Principal LEDs came on the market, and even before that, with the company that they had worked and dealt with before. So, it's been a long, long relationship. Love the guys.
That's pretty awesome, Dan. And so now that you're over at Principal and you joined us and you're still down in Georgia, you're covering the Southeast. We'll pull up a map here to show everybody really what states you're covering so they know when to give you a call. We do have your information, everybody's information trailing along the bottom. So Dan, you're covering, it looks like Georgia, the Carolinas, and Tennessee.
That is correct.
You're based there out of Georgia. While working with Principal, in the last 3 years, we've heard a lot of good stories from Brian and Joe. What do you think would be one of the biggest takeaways that you've had working with Principal?
It would piggyback on exactly what they've said. Just an unwavering commitment to customer service with the new product lines, listening to the feedback of the customers, and coming out with products that they'll actually use, and would actually be beneficial to them. And it's been really successful here. But with the customer service, engineering, layouts, U.S. manufacturing now, to give these guys an opportunity to use something made here in the U.S. It's fantastic.
Absolutely. American manufacturing. I think that's probably one of the coolest things that we get to say when we go out and travel and meet with companies. We get to say, wouldn't you love to have a product made here? Or if it's not 100% made here, something that's being assembled and put together in this country by people, working in the U.S.
100%.
Dan, I know when you and I spoke a couple of days ago, you were concerned that this segment here might tank the show entirely. But I want to let you know, Jordan and I are very impressed here. You actually submitted a bunch of pictures of cool projects that you worked on. And I don't want to call out Brian or Joe, who we had on before, that didn't send any pictures, and so I won't call them out. But we'll run through your pictures, and maybe you could tell us a little bit about them, because these are things that you've worked on and that have Principal in them. So we'll turn it over to you, and we'll put some pictures up.
Sure.
By the way, I like your smile in the map there. You look really happy.
Yeah.
The pictures. I remember when we did this, we were all like waiting in a line, just going one by one, just waiting to get back to lunch.
Well, and I'm pretty sure that was about the third or fourth shot. So there's no telling what the other three look like. That's the scary part.
Oh,
All right, here's your first picture. This is just that we had talked about it. We've come out with the new Mini One HD for hogged out acrylic letters. This is 1 inch thick acrylic, hogged out backside with a piece of 3/16 red on top. And it turned out great. We were using our light tape product in these. We're trying it now with the new Mini One HD. See if we can pull off the same look. But just an example of some of the stuff that we can do.
Yeah, that was
Pretty awesome. Dan, real quick, we don't have to. Let's not go back on the picture, but in that quick mod mini one HE that you just talked about. That is really, I think you hit the nail on the head there. That's a great product to talk to people who aren't big tape light fans or don't like the soldering factor.
Sure.
'Cause you're still getting that density. Plus, you have lens technology now.
100%. And it saves a lot of labor and power supplies if you can use a module type product. So you get the better outdoor rating, you get the dust, enclosed, all that without having to deal with the tape product. And plus it's, something that's got a better warranty. So it's just better all around if you can use that module over the tape.
So what you use in this one here?
We left the top unlit so you could actually see it, but this is actually Street Wrap Gen 2.
That's LED border tube around the red?
Correct. That is
Wow.
LED. The red is the LED border tube.
That's awesome.
And that is actually neon on the inside. The reason I wanted to show this is a lot of people think because of it being RGB that it's not going to get that light output necessary. It would get drowned out by either neon or the actual light there from the street light, and it doesn't. It holds up really well.
Yeah,
That's a solid picture. I didn't realize that, Jordan. Did you realize that was the Gen 2 on the side?
I didn't realize it was. You said it was RGB.
Yep.
That's a powerful red.
Yeah, I thought it was red.
But no, yep.
That's cool.
Did we have more, or those are your favorite too?
That was the favorite too.
Oh, you still win. You're the guy that sent pictures in. There's no.
I just try to do what you ask, Adam. Yeah, that's all I can do.
I mean, you shared the pictures. Maybe you didn't have a picture of it, but is there something you worked on? And because you've been involved in LEDs, even in your previous career, is there an LED project or something that you just have worked on with Principal that has really just stood out to you?
There's a lot of different programs that we've done from like border type accents across condominiums, RGB, being able to use Crowtech, bring those guys in to where you could actually make all three condos, even though they're separate properties, sync together and work. It's, there's a lot of stuff like that we do regularly. So, but nothing huge comes to mind. We had a lot to do with some of the stuff at the new field here in Atlanta, Truist Park. Used to be SunTrust Park, now it's Truist Park, but a lot of stuff like that.
That's awesome, Dan. Well, Dan, we appreciate you. Appreciate you being a good sport with some of our lighter comments. But Dan, appreciate you coming on today, and thank you for everything you do for PLED and the way you help out the rest of us on the team.
No problem, guys. Thanks a lot.
We'll see you, Dan.
See you, bud.
Cool.
Yeah, I just hope the next one comes up right away because I don't know how much we can talk about Joe Lupton. So,
Oh gosh.
yeah, lucky I've known Joe for a while. Joe's another good guy. We have some really great people on the sales team, but I'll turn this one over to you.
Oh gosh, here we go.
We saved. I guess we put the hair guys first. We got Joe on mute there.
You're on mute, buddy.
We're like a commercial for video meetings on this live stream here today. But I don't know.
Am I here? Am I
Yeah,
in?
you're there. We got
You're
you.
in, Joe. Your
Sorry,
big hair and all.
I didn't know you guys were here. I was polishing my head for the live stream. I saw how much commentary there was on hair. I just wanted to bring my A game. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
There
you
you
did a
go.
good job of focusing it all right here. So, I mean, that's a positive right there.
There we go. Thanks for having me on, guys. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Joe, before I switch it over to Jordan there, did you have any comments about your territory being the Midwest versus anybody else in the Central Midwest, or?
Listen, I would say it's an honor and a privilege to represent Principal in the true, real Midwest. None of that Central Midwest nonsense like our hair guy Brian was talking about. This guy in here, so the real Midwest: Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, Kentucky. Yeah, buddy.
The real hair guy. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, we'll kind of jump over to some of the questions. I guess I'll start with the first one. Is how did you get introduced to an industry, and kind of how's that evolved to today?
Well, you said how I got interested. It was completely by accident, happenstance, just like most of the people that are here. There's very few people that I run into that their career plan, it's like, hey man, I'm going to go make signs, sell sign supplies. It almost never happens, right? So I was 21, 22, maybe 21, right? And I was working 3 jobs at the time. And all were, miscellaneous things, right? And my wife filled out a job application for a customer service job on monster.com when that was a thing. If there's too many millennials watching, they're probably like, what's monster.com? It's where you used to post your resume back in the day.
Yeah.
So I started working for a distributor, a well-known distributor, Glance, and I did customer service. I ran a delivery truck. I ran the warehouse, and then I spent about 5 or 6 years in sales. And then, for lack of a better term, I ran into Mr. Yorston, who courted me for some time to be an independent rep. And I finally fell for it. And it's been a beautiful thing. It's been a ton of fun. I worked with Adam for a couple years in the Northeast. And then I went west and took over the true, real Midwest, Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, Kentucky. And I've been here for a little over 3 years.
Brian's got a bold statement there. And
So-
also the person running the computer right now is from Ohio. So we might just want to just trust until this is over.
Maybe
So
you might need to kick me out, man. I might be putting a virus on both your computers right now. I'm not trustworthy.
So I got to ask Adam, what was your first impression of Joe before he came on with Yorston?
We were just desperate for people. So
That's great.
we're like, like anybody will do. And Joe was our lowest bidder. So, Joe and I had a lot of time to travel, and we were in that same kind of age bracket idea concept of what we wanted to do and tell our customers and how we wanted to go out and have fun and present them more opportunities and solutions.
Yeah.
Not just the status quo of knocking on doors and saying, hey, can I also sell you that item? We really wanted to go on and make it an educational experience. And in that time, we got to bond more, learn more about each other. And certainly I got to witness his work ethic. And I was like, that's incredible. This guy is certainly, he's going to do a lot of things, and he's going to be in this industry. So like a lot of people like Brian, we talked about, that stumble in here by accident. The sign market is such a cool place that when you do get into it, I've heard someone before say it was like a vacuum. You get sucked in, you're stuck. You can't really get out. And I think right now at Joe's time he's put in, and going to Brian, what he's put in, you're stuck forever. So
Cool.
we appreciate it. But yeah, Joe's work ethic and just desire to teach and educate.
Yeah, Rocky! Yeah! Woo! Well, Adam, that was really sweet, man. That was really
I appreciate it. It's because people are watching.
nice
But-
things you said.
So Joe, I'll let you finish. I'm sorry. I just was curious about Adam's.
No, that's it. That's the whole story of how I ended up in the sign industry. I started out in distribution. I ran into Adam. It was the funny thing is, and I'll try to be brief because there's other questions, I'm sure. It's not often that you run into another young person in the sign industry hustling. So when we ran into each other, we're like, oh man, this is like the first person under the age of 55 we've seen doing what we're doing ever. So it was unusual, and instantly we gravitated to each other because somebody who's 20 something years older than me can't connect on as many things as we could. So that was, it was unique. It was, let's not be too emotional, but it may have been destiny, Jordan.
Hey guys, we don't have to pull any of these comments up, but Brian's like really trying to walk back these Ohio comments now. You're watching on the there.
I don't see any of it. I'm offended. I'm offended. Oh, thank you, Lauren. How sweet. I finally got a comment from Lauren. That we can close it now. I'm good.
Well, she was like, "What do I say? I can't comment on hair. What am I going to put in here?"
Hey, I polished him and everything, guys. Come on.
That's
Good grief.
Oh. So Joe, what are some of the cool jobs that you've done in the past?
So I felt a little self-conscious about not having photos after how much of a big deal you guys made for dance. While I was waiting to come on, I was trying to find this photo. But one of my favorite projects that I've worked on, for those of you that are here in Central Ohio or drive through Central Ohio, there's a little interstate called 670. And a little bit ago, White Castle put up their new corporate headquarters there. So there's this custom flex curve cut sign that is stood off the building. It's roughly 10 foot high, 10 foot wide, and it's just that White Castle shield logo. So that's got Quick Mod 2 that is in that cabinet illuminating the flex face. And then also there's the guy took the template from the Street Fighter RGB and made a pattern and routed through the backer substrate, and he mounted the RGBs inside of the cabinet, but it's halo lighting the backside of the cabinet. So it's RGB halo lit, all controlled with our systems, and you can see it for about 1.5 miles off of 670. I mean, the thing's on fire. Got some giant channel letters that also have the Quick Mod 2 in it. So it was really fun. I got to go help the team with the project, and it's something that, I drive by and I see all the time. And for those who, if Rocky's still on, those local Ohio guys probably drive by and see it too.
There you go. I think the last question is going to be, what is your biggest takeaway working with Principal?
Well, that's it's a lot of words we could put into that, but again, I'll do my best to be brief. I think the greatest thing about the approach is it's incredibly personal. Like, the culture that exists within the network of Principal is unmatched, and what ends up happening out of that is people freely share information and ideas. And I think that's really the key to the growth and the success that Principal has had. It's that a lot of people just start on a path and they pave it and they say, hey, this is where we're going. Whereas we're very sensitive to looking at the market and saying, okay, this is what everybody thinks great. This is what everybody thinks the solution is right now. Let's come up with what the next solution is before they realize they need it. It's kind of that Apple mentality where we're producing products that you don't know that you need yet and doing it in a fashion. The whole idea of manufacturing LED modules in the States, most people would have looked at that a few years ago and said, that's silly, it's going to fail. And it has been part of what has made us so much stronger in the market is being able to do that, having the staff to build UL assemblies in-house, the resources so that somebody can, my favorite off-the-wall question to tell somebody is, listen, if you call me tomorrow and you say, I need a 4-sided RGB stick with a 20-foot wire whip on it, and I need it to be 78.25 inches long, I can do that. I can build that right now in-house in San Angelo, Texas. Nobody else who sells LEDs in the sign market can say the same thing. So it's an off-the-wall goofy thing that is very likely never going to be ordered, right? But it's something that we can produce in-house as a resource for our customers to add that value. And that's my biggest takeaway. Is really providing the value, providing the service has made us so much stronger than our competition. It's incredible.
Awesome.
Joe,
Short enough?
What's that? No,
Short enough?
Yeah, I'm here.
You're always short of words. I think certainly that's a huge takeaway. Your RGB thing is something I also use when I'm out there talking. It may not be the exact same analogy, but it's the point that, the company saw the concept years ago that the more we do in-house, the less we're held hostage to what could happen out there in the space. And, it's just awesome. We get a chance to sell that every day. So it's really cool. I know other manufacturers might be trying to figure out, man, we should do that. The beauty is we do it. So awesome point there, Joe. And it's been great working with you. Appreciate it. And we showed everybody the Midwest there, Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, Michigan. Reach out to Joe. He's there to help.
I would be remiss if I didn't put this box up here, because as soon as I heard you guys talking and said you didn't have one, I sprinted out to my car to pull this out of my car. So even though apparently Dan and all them had it handy already. But I figured what I could do that would bring it to a different level is I also have a measuring tape, right? Look at
Nice.
that.
Heck yeah. Do you
Beautiful.
like the micro driver?
I love it. Absolutely love it. I know it's something that the market definitely has needed. So, anyways, you were done with me, so I'm not going to talk anymore.
Yeah, we were. I was going to sit here awkwardly until you cut off. I was like, how much longer is this going on for?
I just sprinted for it, so I wanted to show it at least. That's all.
Cool.
Well, Joe, appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one. I appreciate you having me on, all right?
See ya.
All right, so this was like one of our most eventful of ups and downs and having people on and internet working and not working, but we covered a lot. We covered 4 great outside sales reps, and they all talked about a new product.
Exactly. Yep.
So we're left with one thing to do.
Now photo contest.
Photo contest,
There you
September
go.
8th.
All right. So September 8th is your last day. Today's the 27th of August. We've got a week left, a little over a week.
We're running out of time.
Yep. Please place your photos in our photo contest.
Yeah, send your pictures in with the really cool projects you're already making using Principal and win some money.
Yeah. And let's see what else. You also get to have your photo featured and printed on our digital lookbooks, and it'll also be posted on our website and social media. Adam's got it. Yep. So please post your photos or send your photos to us.
Send them in September 8th. All right, we did that. That was for Lauren and for Principal, I guess.
Yeah, there you go.
Jordan, appreciate you hopping on today. We introduced everybody to a couple good people. Joe really dragged that out, so we were on a lot longer than we thought we would be. But good questions, good comments, and we know how everybody feels about Ohio now.
Exactly. Well, cool.
All right. We'll see you next week.